Hello and welcome, each and every one of you. Joining me today is Rich Stone, who kindly agreed to come on our show and give me answers on few questions I came up after I watched his show with Jackie White. This show will be on my Facebook page, DCTcentre Facebook page, and also on my website, www.dctcentre.com. I would highly recommend to watch that show as well, because then this one show will make more sense possibly. Hello and welcome, Rich. I really appreciate you came on my show. And
hey Daiga, thank you.
How are you doing?
Yeah, all good, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, all going well. Cracking on and busy, but it's good to be chatting with you and spreading the good word of crypto and helping anyone where I can.
Rich, maybe now I will let you take a lead and you do how you be planning to do this. Oh, yeah?
Yeah, sure. So we had some questions from the video from the last interview that you sent me, and maybe we could just go through those questions and I could maybe try and explain them and go from there, and then I can share my screen and see if I can answer some questions for you. How does that sound?
You should be able to share screen now.
Yeah, let me just double click on that. Okay, brilliant. So can you see my screen?
Yes, perfectly.
Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. I'm going to stick you there. I think that is good. You can see everything. Brilliant. So so if we go back to those questions, do you have some of those questions on hand, Daiga? Because I think
yes.
One of them, or because yeah, like you said, this really is kind of like a part two, really. To it's like a follow-on from the video I did, the interview I did with Jackie White. So it would definitely make sense for people to maybe watch that one first, and then this one would make more sense because we're kind of going more into certain points, aren't we?
Yes, I just think maybe give like a broad summary about what happened on Tavan show.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so the interview I did with Jackie White about a week or two ago, it was basically just doing a basic overview or an introduction to Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and why I think you should be paying attention to it. So I outlined what it is, where it kind of came from, and why it's basically here. So in a nutshell, Bitcoin is a decentralized cryptocurrency. It's a form of digital currency, and it's also a payment network outside of central bank and government control. And without going into it too much, because of our current monetary system, it is on the brink of collapse. It has been for many years, and because of central banks and governments intervening and just causing a lot of problems, basically, back in 2008, 2009, a group of people, or maybe just one person, a male or female, who went by the pseudonym name of Satoshi Nakamoto. No one truly knows who it is, but there are some clues to who we believe it is. Basically, some very smart computer people designed a payments network and a digital currency outside of the current system. And this was after the 2008 financial crisis, with all the central banks printing money. Well, number one, it was the banks that created the global financial crisis, and the taxpayers bailed them out, as always. And then we have just seen the absolute destruction of our currencies, fiat currency, which fiat stands for government issued or government backed, which is complete. It's just a complete myth. It's backed by nothing. It's just the illusion we have that we believe that there's actual value behind this made up currency that they create out of thin air is wild, but we won't go into that too much tonight. So yeah, so basically 2008, 2009, up popped this thing called Bitcoin. Fast forward to the present day, it's just built massive traction, and more and more people around the world are using it. And also from Bitcoin, because Bitcoin was pretty much like a peer-to-peer payments network, there has been an explosion of innovation and technology with all these different blockchains and cryptocurrencies coming out, and we are seeing an absolute explosion in this new technology that we know as something called blockchain. And blockchain, put very simply, is a database, a network that allows us that runs on top of the internet, that allows anyone in the world to connect to and be part of a system that is decentralized, meaning that it is not controlled by a central authority, a central server, and is very hard to actually shut down. So it really is quite a thing. It puts power back into the people's hands, and that's what kind of grabbed me. So yeah, so we touched on that. We touched on the history of money and all its different forms, and then we went through on a basic level how you let's say buy it from an exchange, and then how you store it. And then we touched on markets and the market cycles. We touched on like be mindful of scams, because with all good, there sadly is some bad. But what I'm going to do actually is, because Daiga, one of your questions you asked was, could you produce a list of some of these scams? And I found a website that actually has a big long list that I think was updated this year of a lot of scams, and we can touch on that in a bit when we come to it. But so yeah, so that was basically what we went over. But if you watch the YouTube video with Jackie White, I think it's about an hour and a half long, and it should give you a basic understanding. And then at the end of the video, I had a resource page which had a list of all different people that I follow and I listen to. And if you want to kind of like go down the rabbit hole and understand it on a better level, that's a great starting point. So yeah, so that was basically that. And then moving on to tonight, should we start maybe going into some of these questions, and then we can just kind of go with the flow and see how it goes?
Yeah, let's start. I created those questions when I watch video. That was like one slide after another, which came on my mind what I would ask, wanted to know more. Yeah, let's say from very beginning of this presentation, you said that there will be only 21 million Bitcoin created. 1 Bitcoin is 100 million Satoshi. Yeah?
Yeah.
I hope I pronounce right.
That's correct, yeah. Satoshi.
My question was straight away when I saw this slide where was all this farm or mind where is all those computers, yeah?
Yeah.
When I saw that this slide, it straight away for me came up question, why will be only this 21 million? Why they're not possible to build another line of this computers there? Where is the problem?
So Bitcoin was the first real successful cryptocurrency, again, created really in 2008, 2009. And the thing is with traditional currencies, or I should say fiat currencies, which are backed by nothing. They used to be backed by gold, but fiat currency is backed by absolutely nothing. We came off the gold standard 100% in 1971. However, the governments and central banks create money out of thin air, okay? And what we don't, or what a lot of people don't truly understand is, for every pound or euro or dollar that is created, it destroys the value. It leaks value. So our currency supply has just gone through the roof since when we came off the gold standard, and it completely cripples people like you and I, who are not, let's say, in the inner circles of the central banking system and government. So to have a currency, or to create a currency or a form of money that is actually capped, has a capped supply, is very powerful, because you cannot keep inflating it. You cannot debase the value. You cannot create it out of thin air. So the 21 million, why 21 million? So I think there's a couple of different theories, but the theory that kind of really grabs me and makes more sense to me is when Satoshi, at the time, 2008, 2009, I'm just going to say he, because I believe it was Hal Finney, who sadly passed away a few years ago, but let's say Satoshi. At the time, it was a estimated guess, because Satoshi wanted to create the amount of units in however many units, but when a Bitcoin is broken down into 100 million Satoshi, so Satoshi is like saying there's 100 pennies in a pound, there's 100 million Satoshi in one Bitcoin. So at the time, I believe the global monetary supply, or the total money in circulation in the world, was around 21 trillion. So if you take 21 trillion and you break it down into however many units make up 21 trillion, so that, I mean, off the top of my head, I can't really work that one out, but if you take 21 trillion and then you break that down, so £1 into 100 times 21 trillion, or something like that, it's a hell of a lot of units. Whereas if you take 21 million Bitcoin and break that down, there should be like a rough kind of balance in how many units. So at the time, Satoshi was kind of creating a fixed supply that would mimic or represent the total supply of fiat currency in circulation. But since 2008, 2009, the central banks have just printed out of control, and especially in 2020, March 2020, when the central bank started printing again, that there is so much more in circulation than $21 trillion. So that's where the 21 million Bitcoin come from. And did that make sense?
It actually did. Sort of makes.
A little bit.
Yeah. Okay, then we can go to next question.
Yeah.
You already tell today as well that one Bitcoin is 100 million Satoshi. It means that in one let's say when we go in the market and somebody is saying they buy Bitcoins, yeah?
Yeah.
Actually, they mean they're not buying Bitcoins, because Bitcoins is very high price.
Sure.
70,000, something like that. They actually buying Satoshi, those stocks. Yeah. Why they still telling that they buying Bitcoin?
I mean, it's just like, you know, it's just like saying someone bought, you know, like £1,000 worth of Bitcoin the other day, let's say. If you want to get technical, you could say, you know, I just bought X amount of Satoshi, but no one really says Satoshi. They say Bitcoin.
That's some sort of crypto lingo, yeah?
Yeah. You know, like some of the people I follow, they talk in sats, Satoshi. They say, oh, this is X amount of sats or X amount of Satoshi. But, you know, for instance, you know, if you're going to make a Bitcoin payment, realistically, you're probably going to say, oh, you know, I just spent some Bitcoin. You're probably not going to say, oh, I spent Satoshi. But if you want to get technical, you could say, oh, well, that just cost me 1,000 Satoshi or something, you know, just like, you know, you could say something costs you, I don't know, 10 quid, you know, you would say you're saying 10 quid or instead of how many pennies, you know. So I think in time, if Bitcoin continues on its trajectory and really does become a global store of value, and it really does become, you know, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, even $1 million, then yeah, we will start talking more and more in satoshis. But at the moment, I think we kind of just talk in saying Bitcoin.
Okay.
And then
there are thousands of cryptocurrencies now. There is 7,800 different types, but 5 main ones. Is it the blockchain the same as a Bitcoin, or blockchain is completely different for those?
Sure. So first of all, there are, yeah, like you said, thousands of cryptocurrencies now. Just like in the .com boom back in the late 90s, we had all these companies coming in trying to build on the internet and become internet businesses. We now have thousands of companies and projects coming in and competing to become blockchain companies. A lot of them, you know, by the end of this explosion of innovation, there will probably only be a handful of real solid companies left, just like in the .com boom, when we had like the Apples, the Googles, the IBMs, and the Microsofts. Okay, that's kind of where we're going at the moment. So we start off with a lot, and over time, you know, it will shrink. So Bitcoin, without going into it too much, Bitcoin's blockchain is unique in the sense that it is a peer-to-peer payments network. So if we just say it's a simple payments network from me to you, I can make a transaction from me to you. There's no central authority in the middle controlling it. And it's done by something called proof of work. That's the consensus. That's how the blockchain operates. It's basically, as you can see on the screen, we have all these computers that run on electricity that figure out technical algorithms and help verify transactions, and people who manage to do it are rewarded in Bitcoin. That's how Bitcoin's created in a nutshell. But then all these other blockchains, they are not necessarily trying to compete with Bitcoin. Some of them are, but a lot of the other ones are, they're building what you call Web3. So these other blockchains allow other companies and industries to build on top of them. So just think about any industry when there's a central or authority or a third party, an intermediary that oversees transactions in any way, shape, or form. By adopting blockchain or taking these companies on the blockchain, it allows you and I to interact with each other via the blockchain, and we cut out that third person. So there are lots of blockchains now, but they're not the same type of blockchain as Bitcoin. Bitcoin is like a payments blockchain, let's say, but these other blockchains are, a lot of them are something called proof of stake. But we don't need to go into that. But we have now, they're like more advanced blockchains that allow companies to build on them. So I actually, for that question, oh yeah, because then that follows on or into the question you said about, could you please expand on the Cambrian explosion slide? So
Yeah,
if I just...
that was next one question, but I here have another question. If
okay.
it on the top of this Bitcoin, they not, that I understand what you said now, it's not on the top of Bitcoin, this blockchain. It's completely different blockchains.
Yes.
They have their own like sort of minds, yeah.
Well, they have their own separate blockchain that they have nothing to do with Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin's one blockchain over here. There's another blockchain over here. There's another one over here.
Done. Thank you. We done this one. We done. No more questions on that. Okay. My next question is about this Cambrian explosion.
Cool. Brilliant.
Do you want to repeat this question or you go for it?
Yeah, so since Bitcoin's inception, 2008, 2009, again, Bitcoin in the world of blockchains is a pretty simple, basic blockchain. It processes transactions, and at the moment, that's kind of what it does. It's a peer-to-peer payments network. But some very smart people came into this space and thought, how about we try and create a blockchain that you can program, or at least develop on top of. So Bitcoin was the start, the real start of the innovation, and then from the Bitcoin's blockchain, we had like what you call a Cambrian explosion, where so much new technology and innovation and growth came from the Bitcoin idea and network. So this image is just showing. It's just a nice visual to show how we started with Bitcoin, and now we have all these different companies, web companies and all sorts, now developing their own blockchains and building companies on top of it, and literally transforming kind of like the internet really, and how we do commerce with each other. So over the next like 5 to 10 years, how we interact with each other online, and how we buy and sell stuff, and how we like from buying a house to ordering food to booking a holiday to buying insurance is going to completely change. You won't actually really know that you're, say, when you go onto a website to find some insurance, you won't probably know that you're connecting to the Ethereum blockchain or the Solana blockchain. That's in the background. You're just going to go to a website and it's going to be connected to the blockchain. So what I wanted to then show you is just a list of some of the like the industries that blockchain is disrupting, and here it is. So yeah, banking is only the beginning. So like I said, with banking, it was a Bitcoin peer-to-peer payments network. But yeah, these are all the industries that blockchain is disrupting, meaning that it's when we talk about a disruptive technology, we're referring to a technology that can literally transform the current status quo of the market, let's say. So I'm just going to scroll down and then I'll stop. Okay, so yeah, financial services. For instance, banking. At the moment, we put our money or currency into a central bank, or I should say a high street bank, but it's a centralized banking system. So we actually give legal ownership to the bank whenever we make a deposit, which a lot of us don't actually or aren't aware of that. And for instance, yeah, it's going to completely transform like the stock market, but we don't. Because there's so much discrepancies and human error. But we're basically trying to remove human error, corruption, greed that sadly human beings can do, especially when we're talking about the financial world. But even like crowdfunding, which is really cool. So this is one thing I really like. So for instance, with the blockchain, instead of, so at the moment, let's say with crowdfunding, I've never personally done it myself, but someone wants to raise some money for a project. You have to trust in a central authority, or like a third party, to hold on to those funds, keep them safe, don't lose them and don't steal them. Okay, with crowdfunding on the blockchain, we don't have to trust in a human being. We can trust in code and mathematics. And we would say, if we wanted to raise some money to build a project, everyone would invest or donate. Those funds would be held on the blockchain in a wallet that everyone would be able to see. you and I would be able to log on and see the funds in the wallet. We're not trusting in someone at the bank or something. We can all log on and see and verify that's the money, there's my percentage, there's yours, etc., etc. And then if the project manager goes through and sticks to his or her word, then or achieves certain goals or goalposts of the project, we can program this money to, okay, the project has hit X milestone, then the next sum of money will be sent to the project. And the blockchain can store and verify this process without having to trust again in that third party, that human being, to oversee the project, and everyone can see it. And let's say the project doesn't succeed, or someone it doesn't succeed, then the funds can be returned back. We can program it so the funds will be returned back to you and I, back to our wallets, and everything is open source. It's all verifiable, and we can all, it's transparency. So it's really brilliant. So yeah, so basically, I mean, this website, I mean, like, people could go through all day long, and this is one thing I really like wills and inheritances. Again, you can literally like program a will. It sounds nuts, but instead of trusting in someone to manage the will, because I mean, I've heard so many horror stories of wills and inheritances going wrong, again, because of human beings. We can basically remove that or drastically reduce the risk by adopting blockchain technology. Again, accounting, loans and credit. Again, so this is one thing I really like about cryptocurrency is, let's say you've got a really bad credit rating and the bank won't lend to you, or the bank are just trying to screw you for every penny. They're going to give you really high interest rates, and they're just going to sting you. They want your house, they want your car, they want everything as collateral. Let's say the blockchain doesn't judge. If you have some cryptocurrency, you can lock that up as collateral and then borrow against it. And it doesn't judge if you sadly had a bad spell a few years ago. And another thing is, I can take my cryptocurrency and in the banking system right now, you're earning, well, you're not earning money really, are you? You're not earning interest on your deposits. It's like 0.01%, I think JP Morgan is. But I could take my funds, I could lock them up in something called a stable coin, which is basically like a cryptocurrency which is pegged to the value of $1. So it's fairly stable in the world of currencies. I can lend it out, and then I could use one protocol called Anchor, and at the moment they offer 19.5% APR a year. Almost 20%, whereas in the bank you're going to get 0.01. So I mean, it cuts out the middleman, it cuts out the greedy banker, basically. So that is basically a really good website. What is it? It's cbinsights.com /research/industries disruptive blockchain, if anyone wants to go look at it.
I have a question. You said that if you with bad credit, you cannot get loans and credits you then cannot get in a bank. Crypto you can, against whatever cryptocurrency is in your wallet. How much actually have to be in your wallet to do this?
It really depends on the platform, what their rates are, and kind of like what cryptocurrency you want to borrow, or what cryptocurrency they will accept as collateral. So there's a few different platforms for that. There's Celsius, BlockFi. I mean, literally, I can't actually keep up with the amount of platforms that are popping up now that allow you to borrow and lend, and then you go down the kind of the road of, is it a centralized lending platform or is it a decentralized lending platform? And you know, that's a whole another subject that goes into DeFi, decentralized finance, and yeah, it's wild. It's pretty impressive.
I just think some of those viewers who is watching at the moment maybe be interested to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And no, I'm trying to. Okay, so also just a full disclaimer: I'm not a financial advisor, and also some of these projects have stood the test of time. So they're fully audited. They're incredibly safe, and yeah, they're fantastic. Some projects are a lot newer. They still haven't been audited. So some of these projects may have bugs in the code because they haven't been audited yet. So again, we're still, even though we're like 13 years down the road since Bitcoin, really, we're still in the early days. So some very good, absolutely amazing, but then some are still very new. So when you go into the kind of the world of DeFi, decentralized finance, there are different websites that kind of rate the like the returns, the safety, and all this kind of stuff of the platforms. But yeah, it really is worth some people looking into, because it really is a great thing. One thing I did forget to add is there's a great YouTube video by the YouTube channel The Defiant, and it's like an introduction to DeFi. I think it's like an hour and 20 minutes long, which I recommend people look at. And that is, I mean, it's quite technical, but if you watch it, it might plant a few seeds and maybe help explain things a bit better. So yeah, and also the banking system at the moment, we are going through so money's going digital, whether we like it or not, but it's going to be two different types of digital. We've got decentralized cryptocurrencies, like the stuff we're talking about, and then we've got centralized currencies, which are the central bank digital. Pardon?
What's the difference between decentralized and centralized?
Sure. Okay. So the fiat currency that you and I, so the money we have in our pocket, I mean, that's a bit of paper, but the money we have in the bank, the digital, that is a centralized currency, meaning that the government and the central banks and the banking system have complete control over that. I imagine there are central servers where you can go to the building of JP Morgan, let's say. With decentralized cryptocurrencies, there is no CEO, there is no headquarters for a lot of these projects. There are for some, but that's a whole other subject. Meaning that, so Bitcoin, you can't ring up the CEO, you can't go to the headquarters. Bitcoin doesn't have a headquarters. There are servers or miners, the miners that power the network are literally all over the world. You literally cannot shut it down. So yeah, that is decentralized, and really that is what we need. We need, as money becomes digital, I for one will do whatever I can to not be part of the central bank digital currency surveillance system, basically, because this digital currency that the Bank of England and the Federal Reserve and the European Central Bank, all the central banks in the world are producing a digital currency, but they will have 100% control over your finances. They will know how you spend your money, when you spend your money, and even why. I mean, they will literally have algorithms recording your spending habits, the food you bought that week. It's like unbelievable. And if you don't agree to certain government agendas, and I can think of a few right now that the government are pushing down our throats, then the central bank literally will have the power and the authority to just turn your account off or penalize you. It already happens in China. you know, something like a third of Chinese can no longer get on public transport because they've got a black tick against their name because maybe they jaywalked or they didn't make a payment in time. You know, it really is not a good thing. So that is a centralized digital currency that our central banks, our banking system at the moment, the central banks are literally racing to bring out at the moment. So decentralized is stuff like Bitcoin and some of these other cryptocurrencies. So yeah, it's well worth understanding.
That's why we are here tonight.
Yeah.
Let's go to another slide.
Yeah. What would
Next
we want to...
was Ethereum Blockchain.
You said the Ethereum blockchain.
Yes, Ethereum Blockchain. Yes, sorry, my pronunciation.
Yeah. No, I thought you said that. Yeah. So the Ethereum blockchain was, so we had Bitcoin, and then that was a peer-to-peer payments network. It still is. And then someone called, or the creator of Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin, he's like a Russian-American young, I think he's like, must be in his 30s now. He's pretty young. He wanted to create a blockchain that you could program. You could use something called smart contracts. So that was what I was talking about, with all the different industries that we could disrupt, or blockchain can disrupt. So this is a photo I found the other day of just different sectors, industries that are building on top of the Ethereum blockchain. So at the moment, pardon?
This Ethereum blockchain is just another blockchain.
Yeah, it's another blockchain. Yeah, it's another blockchain. And then underneath, so Ethereum really is the current leader in smart contract blockchains, meaning, let's just say, programmable blockchains that allow us to build on top of them. And then underneath we have some newer blockchains. So we've got Solana, Polkadot, Cardano, Cosmos. We've got Terra Luna. We've got Phantom, Avalanche. I mean, the list goes on, and they all have their own ecosystems. So this is a touch on the Ethereum blockchain ecosystem. So there are many, not just 5, but I literally just, for this slide, I just picked 5 of the top blockchains, let's just say, smart contract blockchains. So at the moment, what we're seeing is all these companies building on all these blockchains, which is it's really cool. It is really fascinating to see. You don't have to, for anyone watching this, you don't have to understand, if you don't want to, every aspect of blockchain and cryptocurrency. If you just understand the basics of kind of what it is and why it's here, the problems it's trying to solve, and hopefully I can do a half decent job of explaining some of that, then at least you're aware of kind of where money and technology is moving. And I, for one, if we are going to go into this digital era, I want to be on the right side, the correct side of the digital world. Don't get me wrong, I still love, I mean, I'm outside, you know, a lot of the day. I'm old school. I still love, you know, if I don't have to be on a computer, I will not be on a computer. However, if money and technology is going this way, and money doesn't bring happiness, but money sure does help situations. You can use it for both good and bad. I for one want to be aware of what we're going towards and how to best position myself for me, my family, and help out decent people along the way. So yeah, that is, in a nutshell, a touch on the next generation blockchains after Bitcoin. Does that make sense a bit?
It makes sense for me, but I saw this first video, so everybody welcome to go and watch the video what we're talking about on my www.dctcentre.com website and on my Facebook page, DCTcentre. where Jackie kindly let me put her video. So
And also, so like I think the first documentary I watched a few years ago was called Banking on Bitcoin. So that's quite a good one. I think there's another one called like Bitcoin documentary. I mean, there's loads now. To be honest, I kind of like can't keep up with them. Bitcoin documentary, which is about 40 minutes long, which kind of gives a really nice overview of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. But Banking on Bitcoin, that kind of gives the real start of where it all came from. That's really good.
I think now we came to security, yeah, buying, selling crypto and security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so I just want to touch on something quickly, just say that because some people still are crypto, it's digital. I like to touch. I like to touch physical stuff, which I totally understand. I totally get that, but it's something like out of all the money or the currency, because we don't really have money anymore. We have currency because money basically money. Sorry, without getting into it too much, but money is a store of value. Currency is not a store of value. Like gold is a form of money because it holds its purchasing power, but currency is just a paper receipt that is no longer backed up by money. But anyway, yeah, because I'm about to start talking about currency. So about 97%, I think, of the world's currency, money, but currency technically, is digital. Only about 3% is actually paper, and that's the stuff that we have in the cash point. But anyway, so the sooner we can appreciate that basically money is digital, it's a lot easier to kind of bridge over to crypto. So then going on to that is all money is digital, let's just say it already is. So with cryptocurrency, it is 100% digital. There is no real paper crypto. Just to touch on, so what you do is if you want to say buy some, you would go to an exchange.
Excuse me, Rich, maybe let's go to what will happen. I at the moment have in my bank 250 pounds. I want to start investing in crypto. Yeah.
Yep.
Now I'm sitting at the PC at home with 250 on my pocket. Not pocket exactly, but in a bank.
Yep.
What I'm doing next.
Cool. So what you want to do, I mean, you're going to want to go to an exchange. The easiest one would be Coinbase. So an exchange is somewhere where you go to buy, and sell. And this a cryptocurrency exchange. So for instance, the easiest one to really kind of get your head around is Coinbase. People new to crypto tend to go to Coinbase first of all because it's just the most user friendly one, and then as you get more and more used to how you buy and sell crypto, you can use other cryptocurrency exchanges like Coinbase Pro, Binance. They're just slightly more technical, but for today we're going to just talk about Coinbase. And there's a ton of videos on YouTube. That's how I learned, is just a ton of YouTube videos, but on how to set it up. But literally what you're going to do is you're going to go to Coinbase, and I know it sounds silly here, but make sure the website says coinbase.com and the connection is secure, because there's a lot of scammy stuff out there these days. So there might be like a spelling mistake or something, which you might not. This will all look the same, but the website address might be different. But yeah, so make sure you're at coinbase.com, and then you're going to go get started, and then you're literally just going to go through. You're going to create an account, You're going to put in your ID, so that could be a driver's license or a passport. I literally helped a friend the other day set this up. It's really quite straightforward. We've all done a lot more complex things than setting up a Coinbase account. So what you're going to do is you're going to set up a Coinbase account as an example, and then you can connect your say bank card to Coinbase, so you can make a payment, or what I should say is you can then buy some Bitcoin or some Ethereum or some Solana or any of these cryptocurrencies on the exchange using your bank card. So that's like I would say the easiest and the first step, what people can do. And what I recommend is literally just doing this process and then buying some Bitcoin, and then just kind of getting a feel for what it is, maybe read about some of the other ones, and just kind of start understanding what this whole space is all about. So but to let's say the market's gone up, or you think, do you know what, I want to sell it now. You can literally then go to your account, and you can very easily just hit sell, and then you'll be able to sell it into pounds, or you'll be able to sell it into euros. You could even sell it for another cryptocurrency. So Coinbase is probably the easiest start for someone to test the waters.
Rich, sorry. Let's say I go there, I set up this account, yeah. I'm buying, decided, let's say, to buy how many sets I can buy for this 250 pounds, yeah?
Yeah.
Then till I actually press this button sell, yeah, nothing will happen. They will just, this amount will set in my wallet.
So you will buy some Bitcoin, let's say, and that Bitcoin will be like held in your wallet on your Coinbase account. Yeah, and it will stay there as long as you leave it there. And then let's say the price goes up, or you think, do you know what, I want to sell. You can go to your account and you will literally be able to hit sell, and then it will probably give you some options of what you can sell it into. So yeah, like I said, maybe some pounds or euros, or maybe you could sell it for some Ethereum, or I haven't used Coinbase in quite a long time, so I forget what the options are now that you could sell it for.
But how it is in stock market, if it's going, let's say, price going down, this means you have to buy it. When price going up, you have to sell it, yeah?
Well, it depends what you want to do. If you're a trader, if you want to be a trader and you know what you're doing, then in theory, yeah, you're going to buy low and sell high. But some people, because sorry, one thing I've got to mention, but we touch on it from I go into it on the video with Jackie, is Bitcoin was designed as a kind of, number one, well, it's a form of digital money outside of central bank and government control. It's like an inflation hedge, because if we literally just hold on to pounds and euros or dollars in the bank, they're losing money by the minute. They're losing value by the minute. So Bitcoin is not only a digital form of money, it's also aiming to be, and it's a volatile store of value, but it is a store of value. So a lot of people, like people buy gold to preserve their wealth, people buy Bitcoin to preserve and grow their wealth. So I know a lot of people that literally just buy Bitcoin and they're never really ever going to sell it, because they want to preserve their purchasing power. So some people will literally just buy it and hold it for years as an insurance, or an insurance against the current monetary system, or they will hold on to it for years and then sell it down the line for like a pension, you know. So it's all down to the individual of what their goals are, what they want from it, and all that.
Sorry, Rich. We can actually store it and keep it like pension or whatever savings account, yeah. But what will happen if, let's say, bank going down? So many people are losing huge amounts of money just because bank went down, and they're not going to give you anything back, just some kind of percentage from what you had in the bank. Yeah, what will happen? Because I hear from few sources around that Bitcoin actually is possibility to going down. What will happen with this Bitcoin what I brought if it's going down?
When you mean going down, do you mean going down in value or disappearing?
Disappearing, actually. There is rumors around that Bitcoin will disappear. Something else, which one at the moment is very low in the price and very nearly invisible, possibly will be growing, yeah, and Bitcoin going down.
Okay, so again, I don't have a crystal ball, so I sadly can't predict the future, but I just go on what I see in front of me. And in the world of cryptocurrency and literally the financial world, all the biggest banks and massive companies in the world, they are buying billions of dollars of Bitcoin. Bitcoin, as it stands today, has a very bright future, it would appear, with the amount of investment going into it and the amount of companies building or integrating with Bitcoin and its blockchain. So as it stands, from what I can literally physically see in front of me, there is so much innovation and capital flowing into cryptocurrency and, you know, definitely Bitcoin. As it stands, I find it hard to believe that Bitcoin is going to disappear. However, if the internet disappears and the whole of the digital world disappears, then all of the digital world goes. Everything, all digital goes. Central banking, you know, all of that and everything. So you know, so if that goes, then everything goes. But I mean, that's why, for me personally, I'm still very much open to like the physical, so like owning some land, or at some point I may own precious metals like gold and that. I don't at the moment, but yeah. So
I think what you try to say is, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Sure, yeah, that yeah, and yeah, and another saying I like is don't bet the farm. You know, because even though there is an overwhelming body of evidence to support that Bitcoin isn't going anywhere, and if we have internet and just power, energy, then we have Bitcoin. But yeah, again, I'm not psychic. I've heard from a number of different people their theories on where we're going to be in the next 5 or 10 years, and I will absolutely that's why I think it's key for people to be aware of what's going on in the world, because then we can do our best to make the most educated you know, moves, and we have a action plan, you know. So so yeah, I hope that answers it a little bit.
Yeah, I think we now can go to this safe, how we can actually make sure the money is safe to keep there.
Yeah, so
with all ledgers.
Yeah, sure. So if I quickly go back to the slide. Yeah, brilliant. So we've touched on exchanges. So yeah, we have centralized exchanges like Coinbase and Binance and KuCoin and Kraken. They're just some of the top ones. They are centralized. They actually have like pretty much like a headquarters, a building. We have decentralized exchanges, which is basically just code. And let's not go into that too much because let's not bite off too much more than we can chew tonight. So what you can, yeah, because it's such a deep subject. So you can buy your Bitcoin, let's just say, and you can leave it on Coinbase. Okay. It is, but you're trusting that Coinbase is going to take care of your Bitcoin and that, you know, everything's safe, blah, 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 blah. The thing is with cryptocurrency, if you buy some Bitcoin or you have a Bitcoin wallet, you have it on on Coinbase. That wallet has a public key and a private key. Again, there's so many videos online that will, you know, you can listen to over and over again to get a better understanding. But you have just bought some Bitcoin on Coinbase, you will have a public key, and that's your address, your public key address, that you send your Bitcoin to that address. So if I bought some somewhere else and I wanted to send it to my Coinbase account, I would send it to my Bitcoin public address. Then you have the private key address. Now the private key is, I kind of call it like the master key that signs the transactions. So Coinbase will have that private key. So when you want to send that Bitcoin somewhere, the private key will, that is kept on Coinbase will sign the transaction. The issue is if someone manages to get hold of that private key from Coinbase or hack it or something, they potentially can get hold of your Bitcoin and send it somewhere else. So the safest way to store cryptocurrency is on something called a hardware wallet, which is called cold storage, meaning it is offline. It is no longer connected to the internet. Like on Coinbase, that is a hot wallet. It is connected to the internet all the time. So I've got their Ledger and Trezor. So this is my, let me try and, can you see that?
Yes.
Cool. So that is my Ledger stick. So the difference is, okay, now first of all cryptocurrency is digital. It's kept on the blockchain. The actual cryptocurrency itself isn't kept in your Coinbase wallet, or it isn't kept on the stick. It's on the blockchain, up in the cloud, let's say, but you control the flow of your Bitcoin from either your Coinbase account, which is the hot wallet, where you can send it, or you do it from your hardware wallet. So the difference is the private key that makes the transaction. So I want to send 100 quid's worth of Bitcoin to you. I would sign the transaction. I approve it by using this stick because the private key is kept on here. It's not connected to the internet. So in order for that Bitcoin to move, I have to sign the transaction using this instead of leaving it on the Coinbase website, let's say. So what I would do is I would literally, with my USB, I would plug it into my computer. I would go to Ledger Live, which is the interface that allows me to interact with whatever cryptocurrency I'm using, the blockchain. I will then literally click on the app and then just click like confirm. So if you are going to go down, down the crypto rabbit hole and start buying crypto, learn about cold storage hardware wallets like Ledger. Now, me personally, and a lot of people I follow, recommend Ledger over any other hardware wallet. I do have Trezor, but Trezor it doesn't hold as many cryptocurrencies as Ledger. Ledger just seems to be quicker. They have, in my experience, better customer service. They just seem to be faster at keeping up with where this industry is going, and more cryptocurrencies are connected to Ledger than Trezor. So again, you can do what you want. You can read reviews and make your own decision, but in my experience, Ledger is the way forward. So that is basically that is like the safest way for you to keep your Bitcoin, let's say, safe, is by using the cold storage, the hardware wallet.
Then maybe you can give to our viewers this sites, which one is fake ones.
Yeah, brilliant. Well done. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I literally typed in the other day crypto scams, or I clicked on something anyway. And okay, here we go. Again, I don't normally look up crypto scams, but when I Googled it, there are a few websites that list them, and this is a 2021 update. And if you scroll down, maybe there's a search. Yeah, I mean, I think there is a search here. But if you go down, it was quite a long list. Hang on, where are we? Come on. Yeah, so yeah, so here's a good thing. If a family friend or someone is trying to get you to sign up to to a crypto opportunity or a third-party trading platform where you get paid out daily, weekly, or monthly, and oh my god, it's amazing. All I do is I just deposit some Bitcoin and boom, I get paid every week or month. I would literally go online and I would do some due diligence, and I would have a little look around and see. I would read forums and stuff, and also I would literally go to this website. What's this called? scamnewschannel.com. But again, just go online and search the name of this project or opportunity or whatever, and then go down here and just see if it's listed. But also, what I will say, and this is one thing I want people to be aware of, is because the market's really taken off now, we have so many new people come into this space. Scammers, it is an absolute field day for scammers. It is so easy for scammers to make money and steal your money. And a lot of these, so never click on an email that says Bitcoin, whatever. Like, just be really mindful about what you're clicking on. Never give away any information to any random email that you get, especially in your junk email, because I get so many scam Bitcoin emails. It's unbelievable. Some of them are like, they say, oh, Elon Musk has developed a new Bitcoin, or Richard Branson has done this, or Dragon's Den, Peter, what's his name? I don't know. Has, like, honestly, the list is endless, and they'll take a public figure and they'll say, oh, Peter Jones, that's the one, someone sent me it. Peter Jones has left Dragon's Den or something, and he's now gone full-time on this Bitcoin system, and he's making more money than he ever made, and it's a straight-up scam. So definitely do some Googling. Now, one thing to be really mindful of is there are a lot of these third-party Bitcoin trading platforms popping up now, and they've actually been around for a couple of years, where you deposit some money. This third-party trading platform will trade your Bitcoin or your currency and then pay you on a daily or weekly or whatever to your wallet. And you know, people go, oh, it's amazing, I'm making all this money and I'm building a team. A lot of these are multi-level marketing. Ones to be really mindful of are Hyperfund, Cash FX, and I know some people are going to be like, oh no, Cash FX is legit, blah 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 blah. There are so many red flags with Cash FX and Hyperfund. It's like unbelievable, because 4 years ago when I started hearing about Bitcoin again, it was actually a family friend that said, oh yeah, Rich, I'm making all this money through this trading platform. I said, oh wow, cool, look how much money you've made. So I put some money in, started making some money. I was like, oh, this is cool. Within about 2 or 3 months, because I started to really enjoy learning about Bitcoin, I was like, I think I'm in a scam. And then when the market finally crashed, because what goes up must come down, it is part of Bitcoin's 4-year cycle, which is, I think now we're going to go into a lengthening cycle, but anyway. So then when the market crashed in 2018, all these trading platforms that everyone were talking about, they all disappeared. They all disappeared because no more money was coming into this industry. So the guys behind these scams literally take all your Bitcoin and just disappear. And it's so sad because I saw a lot of people lose a lot of money. And we're literally in that time 4 years forward, and I have so many people messaging me saying, oh Rich, what do you think of this? Or oh, look at this. Or oh, my friend's made like 20k a month or something. And I'm like, if you're making 20k a month literally and you got into crypto 6 months ago, you're either the most smartest trader and investor to ever walk this planet, or there's a high chance that you've got into one of these multi-level marketing platforms, you've built a team, and you're making money, sadly, from new people signing up. And as soon as the sign-ups stop, the thing will just collapse. And the thing is about Cash FX is, I mean, there's so many red flags, but one of them is, for instance, they say stuff like, you know, you buy these packages, you know, for whatever, and they trade in FX, foreign exchange, but they pay you in Bitcoin. And to me, I think, why are you trading in FX and then paying them in Bitcoin? Why aren't you paying them in FX? And also, to me, if you're paying them in Bitcoin, or at least you're buying Bitcoin with it, it's a lot harder to track and trace than it is usually with FX. And also, I know some people that are waiting like 9 weeks for their payouts, their withdrawals. And someone told me, who was a friend of mine, was almost about to get into Cash FX, and I said, I personally highly recommended she did not. And I said, because Bitcoin had a bit of a heavy sell-off in, I think, April, May, and all of a sudden Cash FX stopped paying out. And I said, well, hang on a minute, why are they stopping paying out? And she said, oh, because the price of Bitcoin's gone down. And I said, well, that doesn't make sense at all, because if the price of Bitcoin goes down, number one, they're trading in foreign exchange. So they're trading, let's say, the euro against the dollar. That's how they generate their money, through trading FX. If they're paying you in Bitcoin, they should be able to get more Bitcoin because the value of it's gone down. And any proper trader or trading entity, when the market crashes, you short the market. So you make money on the way down as you do on the way up. So, I mean, that was just like 2 red flags straight off the cuff. But then if you dive into it, I don't know. I just, even if they say they've got headquarters in Panama or Dubai, I won't go on too much more. I just want to say, learn how to do this stuff yourself. Don't outsource your financial health or your financial freedom to a third party because it appears easy money. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is too good to be true. So yeah, anyway, enough of that. So yeah, these are just a list of the scams. I did scroll down and actually Cash FX what was listed on here. I'm not trying to look. Some people are going to disagree with me and all this, but you know, wait and see when the bear market kicks in, if Cash FX is still around, and if you're waiting, you know, weeks, months, years for your money that might not ever come back. Just learn to do it yourself, in my opinion. But yeah, so that's kind of touching on the scams. The security we've touched on with the ledger.
I think we pretty much touch on everything, to be honest. We already a little bit more than over, so.
Okay, cool.
Are you want to finish, or you have something else prepared for us to actually?
No, I'm literally just going through the list that you sent me. Yeah, I mean, I think it would be smart if for anyone to go back and watch the video with Jackie and I, and then if there are some more questions, we can potentially line up another call. But yeah, one thing also I pulled up, which I forgot to show, is if you just want to, I mean, it might be a bit overwhelming, but for instance, if you go to coinmarketcap.com, or another one is coingecko.com, you can literally, this shows all the cryptocurrencies really. So at the top, they're listed in market cap, meaning the amount of money in that asset. So at the moment, Bitcoin's market cap is $909 billion. And then underneath we have Ethereum, which is that smart contract platform, blockchain, and that's at the moment got a $480 billion market cap, and then it drops right back down. So these are all the list of different cryptocurrencies. You know, we spoke about Polkadot, Avalanche, and Terra earlier. So
it's actually very useful information, I think, for viewers.
Yeah, I know. To be honest, it slipped my mind, so I'm glad I remembered. So what you can do is, let's say you hear your friend talking about a cryptocurrency. Let's say, I don't know, one project I quite like is Injective. So what, or let's say someone is saying to me, oh, you've got to look at this project. You can type in the name at the top. You can then click on it, and hopefully it's going to load. But it's not loading. Why not loading? Oh, hang on. So I think the internet was playing up. So yeah. So then what you can do, you can start doing a bit of research. So we can see here Injective Protocol, which is it's an exchange for derivatives, but that's a whole another subject. It's currently ranked 204. We can scroll down and we can see that its market cap is currently 372 million. And then we can look at its supply. So it's got a max supply of 100 million, a circulating supply of 43. But what you can do is you can then go down. First of all, there will be a website. So you can go here, you can click on the website. This is, again, I don't want to go into too much, but this is the contract address. So this is the actual address that you, of let's say, like the cryptocurrency you're buying. So you would use that to put on different exchanges, let's say. But what I do just want to show you is, for instance, if you wanted to buy this cryptocurrency, you would scroll down. Okay, so here's like some charts, but you would go to something called markets. You click on markets, and now what it does is it lists all the exchanges that this cryptocurrency is listed on. So you would go down, I mean, I believe it's on, is it on Coinbase yet? Coinbase Pro. But for instance, with Binance, and I do recommend people get used to Coinbase, but Binance is definitely a really good cryptocurrency exchange that has a long list of different cryptos that you can buy, and then you can come along here and you can buy on Binance, because you always buy it with a pair. It's always a pair. So for instance, you would go here and you would buy Injective with USDT, which is it's a stable coin. So you would literally, I've just clicked on it and it's now going to take me to the Binance exchange. And again, this is where I recommend watching some YouTube videos on how to navigate Binance or Coinbase or something. But I don't want to confuse anyone, because Binance is definitely a more complex thing. But you would literally send your USDT to Binance. You can see here INJ against USDT. You would scroll down, and then you could even put the price in you want to buy, or you can just buy it right now. But again, there are so many, and I mean like hundreds, if not thousands, of videos on YouTube of people showing you how to buy cryptocurrency from Coinbase, from Binance, from any one of these exchanges. So if you're in a position where you want to buy something from maybe Binance, but you're not too switched on, what I used to do back in the day is I would literally go onto YouTube and type in how to buy Bitcoin on Binance. And literally on YouTube, there will be all these videos of people showing you, click here, do this, do that. And after a while, you kind of just get used to it. But start small, start moving £10 worth of crypto from wallet A to wallet B and buy it and then sell it and then pull it off and set your stick up, and then maybe send some Bitcoin to your stick, and then from your stick, then send it back to the exchange. Just get comfortable moving small amounts of crypto before you go all in, because if you send crypto to the wrong address, it's gone. There is no customer service you can ring up and say, oh, sorry, can you just send me that Bitcoin I've just sent back, please? It doesn't work like that. Part of the power or the uniqueness of being your own bank by being in control is that you need to educate yourself to be how to control your own funds, because if you send it somewhere else, then yeah, there's a very high chance you won't get it back. So you just, again, get comfortable, get educated, watch a ton of YouTube videos, and start small and kind of just go from there, really. But my video, that first video, just to conclude, if you go back to that video I did with Jackie, towards the end, like I said, like you've seen it, that list of resources, there's a ton of people that you can start following, and literally just go into YouTube and type in what is Bitcoin, and then just start watching videos on people explaining it. But one thing I do recommend is the YouTube series, The Hidden Secrets of Money by Mike Maloney, and that will give you the kind of like last 100-200 years of why we're in this situation, how money got us into this, or how central banking and governments got us into this mess, and why Bitcoin and crypto is a very strong contender for helping us in the future.
I think that would be all what we will cover tonight.
Brilliant. Yeah, fantastic.
It's for people who never done it like myself. It's quite a lot to think and chew on at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. But again, start small. Spend some time watching some videos and get comfortable. Just get comfortable with that, really.
Thank you very much, Rich, for coming tonight and sharing your knowledge with us.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. Let me just try and make it bigger.
And for everybody, I can say, please send me questions if you have some. When we have collected more questions, Rich is happy to come back and speak to us again. So please send questions on my email address, daiga.miller@dctcentre.com. Subject question crypto. Also, if you would like to support our work, you can buy us coffee on PayPal link, which will be included under the video. And PayPal link at the moment is actually my email address, daiga.miller@dctcentre.com. All your donations will be shared between us and will be greatly appreciated. Hope you get some basic knowledge from this video. I certainly get, and I hope you will get too. And please go check out on my website www.dctcentre.com and Facebook page DCT Centre. Check out Jackie White's video with Rich to actually be more complex this picture what we done today, yeah, and get more understanding for everything. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now and God bless.